So go ahead.
Okay. I know like our last meeting Friday, we were talking about, what we have been talking about last week, reaching out to our sphere. And I don't think we realized that Facebook or our social medias was our sphere as well. So I just, because I know I had not really mentioned to anyone since I got my license that I'm now working with KW. So I just put out my digital thing of a picture of um, my business card on Facebook. And I didn't say anything. I just put it out there, and I pretty much made it like my, not my profile pic, but the background pic.
Mm-hmm.
And like when your whole timeline sees that, and so I got over 200, 300, like comments and everything. And then I also got some prospective prospects from people that I didn't even think about. And one girl, I didn't even know she lived in Montgomery. I knew we went to high school together in Opelika. I didn't even know she lived in Montgomery. So she's become a prospect, and she definitely wants to work with me. So we're keeping in contact.
Yeah, and actually in the next couple months, right? And she's
Yeah,
adopting.
she
So
wants to move, and definitely within the next 6 months, because they're adopting 2 more kids, so they need a bigger house.
yeah, and that's not stopping because of COVID. So you're still
And
able.
I made sure that the first thing I let her know.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. So today, like I said, we're going to do the database. And let me pull up my presentation and share my screen with you. There's so many like bars on top of each other. There we go. Okay, so one thing we've talked about is successful agents, something they do every day. It's no secret. They grow their business and they run their business. So when we were talking about lead generation, that's for growing your business. When we're talking about scripts, it actually was in both categories of growing and running, because you're using scripts to generate leads, but then you're also using scripts for showing houses, marketing listings. When you're negotiating contracts, oftentimes you're saying same thing over and over, and mastering those scripts so that you're confident and comfortable with the conversations that you're having. So today with our database, it's going to piggyback on the lead generation. And we're going to understand the importance of your database and how to take advantage of your sphere of influence. Well, let's see. It's under growing your business. So what is a database? A database it is something that produces leads, and we talked about how we're calling them the data bank, because your database is reflection of your bank account, right? The bigger your database, the more effectively you're touching it, the larger your bank account is. And so a powerful database is managed by a powerful schedule, and it produces a predictable flow of leads. And from the predictable flow of leads, you can expect a predictable flow of business. So on that, you have record of business relationships. It helps you nurture and manage those. And then again, the cycle around that, which produces a predictable flow of business. It improves your service and strengthens your relationships. So it allows you, we talked about using those notes and different things. I'm sure we're going to dive deeper into this, into command, but how leveraging command helps you you be top of mind with people, but them to also be top of mind with you when you're using the notes, and it's leveraging that technology so you can be in a closer relationship with people. So we're going to start by talking about what it is and why it's valuable. So what is the purpose of a database? I'm waiting.
To keep up with your prospects, to keep up with who you have, and for those people to generate leads, and for those leads to become closing.
Yeah, it gives you one place to hold all of your people, and it also allows you to see future business from them. And if you have clients, and if you just have a database of past clients, you don't want them to just remain past clients. You want them to be lifelong referral partners and future clients. So that maintains that relationship, because if you just do business with somebody, and we talked about this in the first week, you know, and you just call them every 7 years and go, are you ready to move again? That's not a good relationship. So this helps us fulfill that relationship and make it full and make it robust. And it's valuable because you can see where the business is. And again, like it talked about, that predictable flow. So you're able to keep up with this. So what are some other industries that use a database for prospecting and marketing? We talked about these last week too. What are some businesses?
Amazon.
Amazon. Did you know, guys, that Amazon actually bought a real estate company?
Oh.
Yeah, they bought Realogy, and Realogy owns several other franchises. So why would they do that? For the database and the revenue generated by real estate. Because although the market is, we're seeing this right now, the stock market is up, down, up, down, up, down. Real estate is pretty good at retaining value. So that's a pretty sure bet. And if you get in relationship with people that have database, and you already have a database, what did they just do? They grew that predictable business, right? So Coke, the power company, I mean, all of your doctor's office, any doctor you see, it's not just real estate, it's almost every business that has some form of database. And you'll notice right now, guys, the small businesses, due to COVID, the ones that have databases, are they touching those databases right now to let them know that they're still in business and able to help them? Yep. So that's also what we're doing. And then the question here, what makes targeted marketing effective? We talked a little bit about prospecting and marketing. What's the difference in prospecting versus marketing? Anybody? So marketing is one to many, right? And prospecting is more of that one-to-one. Yet if you're doing marketing that's targeted to a specific group of individuals, so for instance, we use small business due to, we'll say real estate right now. So you're targeting a part of your database, maybe your past clients or current clients. Hey, how can I help you? You're specifically speaking to an individualized group and a category, where marketing overall is just kind of, I'm out here, and it's not very focused. It's more of a brand thing. So there's 3 levels of a millionaire database: essential, effective, and exceptional. So as you develop deeper relationships with your leads, the level of detail that you put in your database will help shape the way the database functions, and it will ultimately help you transition through essential, effective, and exceptional. Okay, so under the essential category, these are the things, you know, the first step, right? It's the simplest and most fundamental, and it's going to contain the person's preferred name, their valid method of contact, past business and past contact record, and any at-will communication. So it means that you have valid and up-to-date method to contact them. So if you've done past business with them, you want to categorize them as that. And then the valid method of contact. So say I've got people on my phone, you guys, if I went through there, I probably have people from high school. What are the odds that they 15 years later have the same email address and phone number? I mean, some might, but I don't need to bet on that, and I don't need to put my business on that. So as you're contacting people in the essential contact information, as you guys are building a database, when you're calling people, you're getting their preferred and most up-to-date contact information. Effective is the next step, right? The next step is will help you reach more potential, okay? So, and it's going to make your database run more efficiently. So you're going to do, you're going to obtain permission from them to have two-way conversations. You're going to collect more personal information, insights, and preferences. And you're going to segment and group based on 1 through 6. So based on where they live, if it's a past client, that's a category. Depending on, you know, what part of your sphere they're in, that's going to help you segment people into the number 1 through 6. It's going to help you divide them up, and then it will allow you to be purposeful and consistent in communication. You know, I know we've talked about before client events. Well, around here, if you're at a Baptist church or something else and you put all those people in there and you're going to have an event at a brewery, you might want to not invite the Baptist church group to the brewery, right? You just want to be appropriate. So knowing that you're doing that, and that's how you identify the people in your database, and that you can serve them at a higher level, knowing their preferences, okay? So part of purposeful and consistent communication is making sure your leads and contacts are on a touch campaign. So we talked about earlier in lead generation how it's 19 to connect and 36 to convert. Okay, so on the 19 to connect, that's taking someone who is a lead and turning them into a contact. You're going to touch them 19 times. That's 4 quarterly phone calls, 12 touches annually with an email, a newsletter, a marketing report, a video, something. 2 promotional direct mail, whether it's a magnet, a calendar, a CMA, and then 1 annual touch where there is some sort of event or get together, and that's to convert. To connect. And then to convert is 36 touches. So you still keep them on the 4 quarterly calls. Then you have 26 touches with a biweekly email offering some information or value. 2 touches are events, get-togethers, and then 4 direct mail touches, a magnet, a calendar, marketing report, etc. So the relevant conversations mean relevant value, and timely conversations mean greater opportunity for conversion. So the reason we create that database is to be able to do the 19 and the 36 to them. And if we have them categorized by people we're currently connected with, that contacts versus leads. Remember, the lead generation funnel had contacts versus leads. Now, the exceptional category, that's the goal, that your database moves from essential to effective to exceptional. And the systems evolve, and the information inside of it becomes more detailed as you're calling and speaking with these people more and more and more. Eventually, you'll be able to have more of a hands-off approach. As you're building it, though, it's very hands-on. You're going to be in it a lot. The automation will come through technology like Command, or through how you got your systems on and a timeline set up. So it's possible to become a millionaire real estate agent within the first level of just essential information, yet the opportunity to grow your business, you're going to take that to exceptional, and it makes it through all the way through the 3rd step of exceptional. All right, so we talked a little bit about why to use the database and why it's key in having a successful business. Okay, so why use it? 1 is to avoid the today trap, and 2 is to get a predictable ROI. So your size of your database determines the size of your bank account. Your database holds your relationships, and it makes customer information easier to handle, and that allows you to improve your service and strengthen the relationships. And the database avoids the today trap. All right, there are 2 types of business, today and tomorrow. Without a database, your business is only built for today, okay? NAR states that people move every 10 years. If they are only focusing on people doing business today, you're only focusing on 10% of the business that can be done. Within 10 years between transactions, agents who don't leverage systems to stay on top of mind end up experiencing their clients using different agents. Taking control of your database and having purposeful, consistent approach to your contacts will help build a path to your future and get you repeat and referral business from your sphere of influence. So that's what it's talking about, the today trap. When you're only worried about today, Simon Sinek has the book Infinite Game. So there's a finite game and there's an infinite game. Are you playing the finite game of today, of today's business? Or are you playing the infinite game of building a business and a career? All right. These 100 people are in your market. 65 are looking to be homeowners and 35 are not. Out of the 65, 58 of those people are out of the market. The remaining 7 people are your today business. If you're working without a database and only focused on today's business, you're only focused on finding the one person who is an orphan or isn't already represented out of the 7. Okay. People move every 10 years, but if you're only focused on today, what are you only going to see? You're only going to see the 7, right? And if those people already have representation, then you're kind of SOL, right? And you're stuck going, there's nothing here for me. So if you consider all your contacts as potential clients or tomorrow business, you have a much larger market, right? And you see the opportunity. If you take control of your database and you have consistent approach to touching them, it builds you the path to the future. What ahas does anybody have from this so far? I'm like Kermit the Frog sipping my tea. Shakarol, I see your face. What aha do you have about this?
I guess, I've always known from the beginning, we talked about database. I guess it's becoming seen, even just seeing charts like this, it becomes more real and becomes more, shows why it's more essential to have the database.
Right. It gives you perspective.
Yes. We think we think we know people and we think we can remember everything in real life, but we can't. So we have the database, we can just simply go back and look at it and see where everyone's staying.
Yeah. And what's perfect about kind of what the space we're in right now, the circumstance we're in right now, is the fact that you're calling and caring about people and, hey, how are you? How can I help you? You're opening up doors for a ton of future business. Now, there's still people raising their hand saying, I want to buy and I want to sell. And you're going to have the opportunity to be in front of those motivated buyers and sellers because you're calling, just like you said with your friend. That's a great example. Yet if you're not calling at all, it's scary to think about. So everybody needs to be calling. What's your activity right now is building this database for future business. Okay. Now, when today's business pops up, we want to handle that. Yeah, we're really building for future. Or it's our data bank. No, it won't let me click. Okay. Here is how to get a predictable and take advantage of the predictable ROI. So the average is 10 to 1 or 14 to 1. But some KW agents have reported a ROI as 40 to 1, as high as 40 to 1. A 40 to 1 ratio is possible by communicating consistently with your database, specifically your sphere of influence. It's possible to see a higher ROI through gaining repeat and referral business through your sphere of influence. With each customer, there will be 3 associated costs: generating the lead, converting the lead to a customer, and converting the customer into a referral. So the 3 important considerations: the lowest lead cost. Okay. This is the cheapest customer acquisition strategy to work with existing customers and people who know and like you. The people who know and like you, we call them what? Your sphere, okay? And then the lowest conversion cost is when properly built and maintained, a database will actually end up producing its own leads in the form of repeat clients and referrals. It will also have the lowest conversion cost. And then it pays for itself. A database makes it easier to do consistent follow-up. When you're good at consistent follow-up, the resulting leads will end up paying for themselves. Okay? That means that as we're talking about building it, it's going to take a little bit of work to get in there and build it and set it up. Now we're going to talk about developing your database. Okay, we talked about why it's important, and now we're going to talk about how to develop it. All right, there are two ways to feed your database: prospecting and marketing. We talked a little bit about that at the beginning of the session. Marketing requires money. It's passive, and it means that you wait for the leads to find you. Prospecting requires time. It is proactive, and it means that you are doing the groundwork to find the leads, okay? So marketing has long-term results. Prospecting has immediate results. Just one approach may not be enough. You're going to have to combine the two. But it is best practice to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And in one of our earlier sessions, we talked a little bit about a billboard, right? Billboard versus door knocking. And I'm not recommending door knocking right now during this time, yet that's a great example of prospecting versus marketing. All right, so inside of Command, there are several ways to tag, and I shared several videos with you guys, I think on our last session Friday. We have a new YouTube channel where I'm taking content that is already out there and putting it in one place for you guys, whether it's Command or different aspects and things inside of KW. And then also our trainings like this Ignite, once we have that all together, that will also go into our YouTube. So any future trainings we do, we're going to put on there so that everybody can access. But inside of there, you want to segment into groups. And so these are some example tags that you can create. Okay, so we have a business relationship. Under the category of business relationship, you have somebody that hasn't done any business with you yet. You have an active client, a past client, referred business, and VIP. Good morning, Tiffany. So that VIP, and you guys may have heard Adam talking about how they do annual events and do things specifically for this VIP group. Now, the VIP group are the people that are giving you a lot of business, typically. So if you have a database of 1,000 people, you want to do some special things for the people that bring you more business. And that's going to develop over time as you guys are building this database, and those people that are giving you referrals, that's going to be your VIP, right? And so it's going to evolve. The idea is you touch everyone, yet you foster the relationship and the closeness, and you provide a lot of value to the people who give you a lot of business, right? Then you have hobbies and interests. Any hobbies that you have, if you have fishing buddies, if you play recreational softball, whatever it is, and you have your group of people from that, that's a tag. Property type, if people have specific, you know, as you're coming along and past clients, you have people in specific maybe areas or specific property type. You have people that are buying land versus people that are buying, you know, neighborhood suburb homes. That's going to be two kind of different categories. Investors versus residential homeowners. And then your vendors. So you're going to be able to tag people as you're putting them in your database, so that when you want to reach out to your vendors and look for a sponsor or someone to help you with an event or to help you with some of these videos we talked about doing, you know who to reach out to because you got your vendors tagged, right? If you're going to put on an investor workshop, you're going to reach out to your investors. So you need to have them tagged. And that makes your message you're communicating to these specific people should be relevant to what those customers liked, their personal interests, and any past interactions you've had with them. What are some other ways that you guys can think of tags? What are some other tags?
I would say a first-time home buyer. I guess you can put them in a tag.
That's a good, that'd be, you know, along with sort of like the property type, but like you're saying, a category of first-time home buyer. You could do, you know, your high school class, your college class, your, if you were in a fraternity or sorority, I combine those two words, a fraternity or sorority, anybody that you know that was part of that. We talked about church members. If you're in the PTA or your kids in Little League, or, you know, there's a million different tags. You just need to figure out, you know, as you're looking through and your sphere of influence, right? Who are these people? These people belong to this group. These people are part of my, you know, charity work group, or whatever it is you have. It's based on your life and how you're going to use it. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick tech demo on how to do a tag. I shared a video with you guys on how to do it. And figure out how to get out of PowerPoint. Oh goodness, I don't know what it did. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right, you're going to open Command, and then you're going to go over here by your name and go to Settings. And then you're going to go to Command Settings, drop it down, Contacts, drop it down, Custom Tags. So I've got several in here based on recruiting and things, but here is a create new tag. So we said SOI, and I'm going to make them yellow and create. So when I go put someone's contact in there, let me show you. And you can do as many as you want. There's only like 8 colors, but they're not typically going to all show up at the same time. So let me add a contact. I'm going to add Mickey Mouse. Put his info in here, and then down here at tags, it'll show me everything that I've put in there. So downline, as you're putting people in your downline, you can have them, you know, on that. He's in my sphere. He's somebody I've sold to before. You know, you can do as many as you'd like. He's a referral partner. Pipeline. And then create. So now when I pull up Mickey Mouse, see how it pops up? Sold, referral partner, sphere. So if I'm pulling up everybody in my sphere, I can search it at the top, and that's who I'm reaching out to. So right now with you guys, we're telling everybody to call. Hey, how are you? How can I help you? You can start with your sphere. Okay. And you want to make sure that you're tagging. The importance of that is, so when your database gets larger, you'll know how to reach out to people, and you know what you said last to them. It helps you keep up with all of that. All right, we've touched on this a little bit. What are your ahas, or what are your thoughts around the touch for 19 to connect and the 36 to convert? What are y'all thinking when you see that?
It initially looks like a lot.
Yeah.
But if you make it, what I'm trying to say, if you make it something that a habit, it becomes the norm.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Automating. If you can automate as much of it as possible, that would really help. Like I guess like the monthly newsletters, like anything that can go out automatically without you having to think about it. Mm-hmm. Very good.
So, and that's what's wonderful about Command right now, is because if you just put everybody on the existing smart plans that KW built, not anything you have to customize, you can do all of this. But it's every individual contact, making sure they're connected on each one. And it's simply clicking a button. And it's not, if you have 200 or 500 people, you want to do so many a day, just making sure that you have so many a day in there. That quarterly phone call, guys, that's so simple. It's just going to remind you to do that and say, hey, you haven't talked to this person in 90 days. And right now we're going through every person we haven't talked to at all, right? But you're gonna mark on there that you talked to them in quarter 2. So then quarter 3 rolls around, you're talking to them again. And it makes you, it makes you remember, all of that we talked about. But this is like, think about it like a recipe. This is your recipe card for success. Okay, you would not go out and make a homemade cake without using some form of recipe. This is that, okay? If you just start throwing a bunch of mess in a bowl and put it in the oven, y'all seen that show Nailed It? That's exactly what it's gonna look like. So how can we expect our business to be built on something that we didn't follow the model on? And if you're gonna follow the model on anything, this is data that's been studied by hundreds of thousands of agents. And like I was telling you guys, from the original MREA, when that was printed, it was 33. It was a 33 touch. Then they realized 33 was not enough. So they said 36. Well, then they studied more because he's going to write an MREA 2, and they realized that 36 alone wasn't enough. You have to connect with the people. If you've got, cold leads, you got to get them to connect with you and give you permission to have the two-way communication, which then converts them to a transaction. So we give Amazon a lot of grief. I don't even want to say grief because we love it, right? But how often do they talk to you guys? Daily, or even like more than daily, multiple times a day? Because if you think about it, sometimes you get a text message, sometimes you get a notification in your app, sometimes you get an email. If you've bought something recently, they're reminding you that something, that you ordered it. They're confirming you ordered it. They're confirming that here's your receipt. They confirm that something got shipped. They confirm when it's on its way. They confirm when it's delivered, and then they ask you, did you like it? That's for every single thing. And yeah, we're like, oh, man, that's delete. But when you go to buy something, what do you think about? Can I get this on Amazon? Mm-hmm. So that's where we want to be. When people think about real estate, can Shakira help me? Can Tiffany help me? Can Erica help me? Can Kim and Slade help me? We want to be that first response for them. We don't want them to think, I should probably look this up on Zillow. Girl, bless you. Slade, Lysol the screen.
I gotta get my Lysol.
They probably just got me going in a room over there. I'm probably talking to Ash. Anyway, so this is why it's so important that we're doing this, guys. It's a 2-layer thing. And this is, again, why it's really important that you know who's in your database. Who do you have that permission to speak to and that have said, yes, Shakira, I want to use you. Maybe I don't need anything right now. That's in your 36 category. Your 19 category are the people that maybe you've called them and they haven't responded if it's in your sphere, or people that you see out on the street, maybe you connect with at an open house or whatever. Those are the people that you're really getting them to say, yes, I will do business with you one day somehow. Then they go into the 36. You see how it's 2 sides of the same coin? All right. Do y'all have any questions about this before we move on? Okay. To summarize this is your business being sustained through the relationships with your leads and contacts. All right. There are 2 ways to tend to your database. Okay. Think about it like a garden. We're planting it. We're, fostering it. We're doing all the things. We're engaging with it. And now we're tending to it to make sure that it's going to produce fruit. Yeah, I just got into my church producing fruit, y'all. Anyway, so people like to do business with people that they what? Know and like. We keep talking about that. Getting to know someone allows you to treat them like a friend or actually become friends. So these are the people that are not necessarily in your sphere yet. These are people that you're fostering that relationship with you. When you do this, you're building a culture that's not about what the customer pays you, but how they perceive you. This will show up in reviews and testimonials. So how do you ensure that you get the reviews and testimonials that you need? Kim and Slade, if y'all are here, tell me how you guys get testimonials and reviews. I'm going to an empty room for sure.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Sorry. Repeat that, please.
Okay, how do you guys get testimonials and reviews from your clients?
We ask for them.
Tell me what that looks like.
Well, there's a testimonial form we sometimes send out or give to people to fill out for us.
Mm-hmm.
But we also ask how we did in handling this particular transaction. Did we communicate well? Did we do whatever? We ask specific things about the transaction. But that's kind of how I do it. Excuse me. That's for you, Tiffany.
Yes, and that was the point, is that, I wanted to let everybody know somebody's not gonna go, oh, let me write you up a testimonial. They'll just say thank you, even if they appreciate it, and typically kind of go about their business. It's not gonna be a lot of clients that say, Slade, let me write you something up so that you can share it with the world. Typically they don't do that. You have to ask for it.
Correct.
You have to set up something inside of however you guys do it as part of y'all's routine and system. You guys, you new agents, are going to have to figure out when you're going to ask for a testimonial, but you want to be always saying something along the lines of how are we meeting your needs, or is it everything going well, that sort of thing, because you don't want to wait till things are going bad to get feedback. That's not going to move your business forward, because then you have somebody really upset. There's a video they share in bold, and I'll find it and share it with everybody, but it's the guy that does the promise. And so essentially his whole presentation, his whole relationship with a client when he's doing business with them is built on what he's called the promise. And this is what he's known for, is I promise to give you exceptional service, and I'm going to check throughout the whole transaction process and confirm that you still are getting exceptional service. So part of that is he does a lot of body language. He uses the language of exceptional service. I will provide you exceptional service. So that's putting that in their brain. And then as he's checking in with them, they're going, yes, you're providing me with exceptional service. And at the end, at closing, he goes, well, if I provided you with exceptional service, I want you to give me two names of two people that I can provide exceptional real estate service to as well. So part of that is he's prompting them to, and just like Amazon's doing to us, training kind of as part of his conversation, and the scripts that he's using is I'm providing you with exceptional service. One thing Kim told me before, when she goes on listing presentation, I believe she says something, she says every time she goes on a listing presentation, I really want this listing, or I really want your listing, or something along those lines, that making sure you're communicating clearly and effectively that this is what you want. So when you want the testimonial, you want the review, you've got to be clear and say something along, I really love my clients and I appreciate helping them. You can help me help others by giving me a Google review, by writing down a couple of sentences on your, what your experience was with me. And there's multiple testimonial sheets, review sheets out there. There's actually some in our docs, our file docs, that you could use, that just say, 1 through 5. Was my communication clear? Did I help you fulfill what you wanted? You can do some form like that. You could do a Google form. You could do, if somebody's raving about how awesome you were and how you helped them, could I do a quick, video testimonial so that I can share that with others to let them know, that I help people? You just want to put that out there to communicate that. Okay, and then the second one is to regularly update and prune your database. You know, I talked about some people I have in my phone, probably I've got their contact info from high school. That might not be accurate at this time, so you want to make sure that you don't have the Pizza Hut place in there, and that's the risk you, the risk you run if you just upload your whole like phone into command is that you're going to get, you know, for me, you're going to get Pizza Hut, you're going to get the restaurants that I go to commonly, you're going to get some other things that's not necessarily going to bring you real estate business. So you want to take those things out, making sure your data is accurate and making sure people are tagged properly. So you got all of your sphere, you got all of your people categorized appropriately to move forward. All right, so about database, how has your thinking changed around database, or has it changed around database? What ideas did you guys get from today? You're muted.
Forgot. So the grouping of the contacts or categorizing them so that you can know how to market to them and things like that.
Yeah. What do you feel differently about from today? Do you have any different feelings about your database?
Well, I always knew that it was important because it's like that place that you store everything for your business. But I think what I took from it is just how important it is, and so it pretty much determines it determines your business pretty much.
It does, yeah.
The size of it,
Mm-hmm.
how organized it is, how effectively it's running, all those things.
Yeah, it's like a machine, and you've got to feed it and tend to it and make sure that it's running, and that machine produces, you know, a business for you. So how are your behaviors going to be different, and what actions are you taking moving forward?
To make sure that I feed it every day.
Right, and that's part of that, you know, the daily 10-4, which is now we've doubled it, so it's 24. So the daily 24, that's exactly how you're going to do it. You're going to talk to your 20 people, you're going to put them in there, you're going to send them a note or message, an email, and then you're going to preview homes. Now the homes are not necessarily in there, but that gives you market data to have the conversations that you're having. So it's making sure that's why Ignite's so important, because it helps you build the habits of the fundamental things that you need to be doing to be a successful business owner in real estate. And it's built on the premises and practices of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. So the two go hand in hand. I personally love how they summed it up, and now it's an hour session, and it's got some practical steps in there, and it's really updated. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions based on today, based on what we've talked about?
Hey, Katie.
Hey, Slade.
Have you sent us a link to the YouTube channel that you were
I put it
about?
in the Facebook group, and I'll do that. I'll get that sent out today, in an email. Yeah, I meant to do it after I sent it. I like to do both Facebook and email because we've got some people that do Facebook, some people that do email. I did not email it.
Okay, thank you.
It is KW Montgomery. You should be able to search it in YouTube to save it, and it'll allow you to subscribe to it so that you can either I'm subscribed to people, but I'm subscribed where it doesn't notify me, that it just pulls up like in my playlist or whatever. So if I go back later, I can check.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right. So I do want to mention database and command. You can check your health score. So the reason that that's important is if you have existing contacts in there, you can look and see, okay, I've got 78% of people with a phone number, but I've only got 50% of people with an email, but I've only got like 10% of people with a neighborhood. Well, if you're just doing the 4 touches, all you need is a phone number. But if you're doing the 36 touch and you need a phone number and you need an email and you need a neighborhood, then you're gonna have to build that out. That needs to be your first step. is making sure that you fulfill every contact you have in there, making sure that you have more information. The goal of your database health is to keep it above 50%. Okay, so 50% or greater is the goal. All right, I want to ask you guys, did y'all do your scripts? Shacarol and Tiffany, did you do scripts?
Well, we talked to each other on Friday and kind of got an introduction to it, and we were supposed to, and I forgot, Sharon, I'm sorry. We were supposed to do like a follow-up call yesterday, and then I looked at my mom's and stayed there way too long. So, but we did, we talked Friday afternoon, and pretty much got like an introduction to it and kind of read the rules, a few of them. And so.
Yeah. Well, that's the first step. I want you to put it in your calendar so you're doing it every day, and it can be 15 minutes. But make sure that your conversation in that full 15 minutes, if you do 15 minutes, is scripts, is this, because it's easy to just start chit-chatting and then your day is gone, right? Because we're relational people. Most realtors are conversationalists. Okay, so just a follow-up around scripts. Scripts help you lead generate, uncover motives, identify objections, close deals, and speaks in terms the customers understand. It also builds confidence. So as you guys are script practicing, you know, when y'all are pretending to be the client or the customer, don't go, yeah, of course. Say something that maybe you've heard someone say to you. Throw out an objection. Don't be the easy person, because you want to train your brain to think and handle those objections. So you should be script practicing for 15 minutes a day and making sure that your calendar says that as well. All right, so the rest of your day, what are we doing today? What's the rest of our 2040 or 24?
Calling, previewing homes, MLS.
Yes, yeah. And we said that instead of the handwritten note right now, unless you have some and you feel confident people aren't going to be weirded out about you sending them a note, you can send an email, you can send a text, you can send a personal message, something to say, thank you for speaking with me today. It's that extra touch, okay? And then you're previewing the market, knowing what's going on. So when somebody says, how's the market? You don't say, good. That doesn't really work during this time. If you guys don't have anything else, we're going to finish up this week. Today's session only took about 50 minutes. You also want to make sure that we talked about Ignite has now incorporated where you're reviewing the contracts and you're spending some time, 30 minutes every day, looking at them, looking at one aspect of it, just internalizing it, seeing, you know, what that looks like. Let's see, I have a chat. Marisha, fill up, update my database. Yes, ma'am. That's right. And I've got too many windows popping up here. Don't ask me what I'm doing with this computer. It's just very special. All right, there's ways that you can get help with Command and Connect, and you all know how to get into Command at this point. You all know the database help score is going to be at the bottom of your home screen, and then Connect is where you'll find tons and tons and tons and tons of videos. I'm going to look up that video with the promise, and I'll share it with you guys because that's really good and a really good example of, you know, how throughout the whole transaction process, one is using scripts, you know, making someone confident in the customer service he's going to provide, and then asking for that referral and asking for confirmation in a review or testimonial. So that's something that will help build repeat business for you guys. And when we all know it's important to look at reviews, because when you go to some place for the first time, what do you guys do? You look at the reviews first, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's a landscaper or a house painter or a restaurant or a movie or anything. So we want to make sure that as we're helping people, they're giving us reviews, because that brings us validation, you know, and future business. So I hope you all have an awesome day. We're going to have business meeting tomorrow at 9 on Zoom. I'm just going to keep everything at 9. So 9 a.m. tomorrow, the notice will go out, and I'll meet you guys here tomorrow morning. Bye.